Clarissa, creator of Rock at College, and you're watching Soulful Studies Sunday. And in today's episode, what I want to do is answer the question, how much time should I spend studying every single week? I know that for a long time, the rule of thumb has been that for every 1 hour that you spend in lecture, you should be spending 2 to 3 hours studying outside of lecture. I don't necessarily believe in that rule of thumb for a couple of reasons. But the main reason is that I don't think that it takes into consideration all of the differences and our personal, individual priorities, goals, aspirations, life circumstances, schedules, demands that each college student is experiencing. I mean, we all have different learning styles, reading speeds, and personal priorities. And because I understand that reality, I can't stand here today and say that you need to be spending X amount of hours studying or 32 hours a week studying, because I personally never did that. I don't want to do that. And I think that students who are doing that will find that much of that time is actually unproductive and unnecessary. But here's the thing. I also don't buy into the bullshit that you don't have time to study. You have time for everything that you make time for. And if you don't believe me, you can go out and check my last 2 videos on time management and priorities. Now, do I think that there are some students who need to spend 32 hours a week studying? Yes, because of what I said. We all have different learning styles. Take me, for example. I am not the best math student. In fact, I still add and subtract using my fingers and my feet. And I'm not ashamed of that, but if I had to take 4 math classes in a semester, you better believe that I would probably be studying 32 hours a week, because that's how much time I would need in order to achieve the grade goals that I want for myself. But in the back of my mind, the only thing I care about is getting to my end goals, my academic goals. So I don't care about how long it takes me to study and prepare for these classes. I don't care about the methods that I use. I just want to get there. Now, of course, if I wanted to cut back on my time, I'd probably work with someone that would teach me, math studying strategies to help me cut back on that time. But again, my end goal is to understand and learn the material so that I can move on with whatever other goals it is that I have for myself as a student. I never had a study hour goal. I never limited myself as a student. I just knew how much time I had to work with every single day, and I did what I could to make the most out of that time. And that's the first point that I want to make in this video. Stop worrying about trying to figure out what the magic number of studying hours is. There isn't one. You didn't enroll in college to beat some studying hour world record. You're there to get educated. You're there to learn some cool ass shit. You're there to be challenged. You're there to expose yourself to different schools of thoughts, to learn new skills that'll help develop your character and turn you into a better person, a better citizen, someone who can help progress the society. That is your role as a student. It's not to be the person that can study for the most hours or study for the least amount of hours. The second point that I want to make is that there are many different factors that are going to affect the amount of hours that you study every single week. The first factor being that some of you have a limited amount of time that you can actually spend studying. And I'm talking to all you college girls that are working full time and watch my videos. I know that there are times when you only have 10 to 15 hours a week to study. I know that some of you college girls don't necessarily care about being a 4.0 student or the student who gets A's in all of your classes. You prefer to network, volunteer, get your name out there, be involved in causes and be an activist, and that is your motivation in college, is that networking environment. And so you're probably going to spend less time on studying because you don't really care about being the top student. You care about progressing yourself in the work field, in getting involved on campus, and that's where most of your time is going to be going, and that's okay. Again, those things affect your study time. And then the last factor is probably the most obvious, and that is that there are some classes that are just going to be more demanding than others. There are some classes, some materials, some subjects that are going to come easier to you than others. And there are some that are going to be harder that are going to require you to spend more time studying, to spend more time with the professor, to spend more time in tutoring, to spend more time reading. Some of you read slower, some of you take notes slower, and that's okay. All of those things are going to affect the amount of time that you spend studying, and that's why I can't give you all a definitive amount of time, because it really comes down to the individual. The last point that I want to make is that almost everything that you do is a part of the studying process. The studying process is there to help you achieve one main goal as a student, and that is to learn. Because in case you forgot, that's the reason why you're in college, to learn something. And you're actually spending more time studying than you think you are. Studying is anything that helps you learn material. Studying is anything that helps you acquire knowledge and acquire skills that you can retrieve at your disposal to solve problems and to make decisions and to take advantage of opportunities. So when you're in lecture, listening to the professor talk and taking notes, you're studying. When you're doing homework assignments for your physics, chemistry classes, you're studying. When you're reading your textbook, you're studying. When you're re-listening to lecture, you're studying. When you're going to tutoring sessions, you're studying. When you're sitting in a study group, you're studying. It all freaking counts. It's all a part of the learning process. Now, are there certain study strategies that are better than others? Absolutely. In fact, there are many studies that have been done that prove that. And you can find a lot of those studies in the book, Make It Stick: The Science of Successful Learning. And as you probably know, when something is more effective, it usually means that it's going to save you time. It usually means that it's going to help you achieve your goal in a more streamlined fashion. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that that route is going to be easy, but it certainly is going to be simpler. So if your goal is really to cut down on the amount of time that you spend studying, or if your goal is to make the most use out of the little time that you have to study, then the only way to do that is to learn more effective learning strategies, more effective study strategies, more effective note-taking strategies, listening strategies, reading strategies. You need to understand how the brain learns, how to pull out main ideas, how to think critically, think like a professor, how to simplify what it is that you're learning, how to test yourself, and how to practice using all of the skills and information that you're learning in your lectures and classes, because that's what the professors are going to expect of you. Now, if you want to learn more simple and effective study strategies, then I encourage you to check out the Rock at College system, which is a step-by-step blueprint that I created to help you get better grades without the stress, overwhelm, and lack of social life. But in terms of this video, me answering the question, how many hours should you be studying every single week? My answer is however many hours it takes you to achieve your goals. And if you want to cut back on that time, you're going to need to learn more effective study strategies. I hope that this video helped. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye. I hope you enjoyed the episode of Soulful Studies Sunday you just watched. I have so many more study skills and practical college advice in the Rock at College system, a step-by-step blueprint for creating your own study system. Get better grades without the stress, overwhelm, and lack of social life over at rockatcollege.com.